James, you guys seemed like a spirited talk over there. What were you kind of saying to the guys at this point in the spring?
Just covered a bunch of things, with practice. Some things that I thought we did well, some things not so well. We really wanted you guys in. We kind of had you for 15 minutes, which is what we're going to do in the spring from now on. You're going to get 15 minutes of practice rather than 10, what you've gotten in the past. But it's a 2-minute drill. We had 2 turnovers in the first place, so it's over. So, but I covered that. I thought during the Skelly period, our offense was explosive, had a bunch of big plays. And then during the 2-minute, we got 2 turnovers. So right now, we've been very competitive, and it really should be like that, but there's still practices where there's a period where the offense dominates, and there's a period where the defense dominates, and it really shouldn't be like that. When you're really good, each period is competitive as hell, offense and defense. We shouldn't have so many swings. So I kind of covered that. We were supposed to meet tomorrow morning, which is how we do it, because Tuesdays and Thursdays here academically are some challenges for meetings in the afternoon, so we meet in the mornings. But we're going to give them off tomorrow morning, so that's why they're screaming and going crazy.
James, we're getting an opportunity to talk to Tommy. What can you tell us within the realm of the way you can talk about things that he's been able to do this spring, and how productive has it been for him?
Yeah.
Is it a fair way to ask?
I appreciate it. Yeah, so it's been really good. I think, the thing that Tommy's always had, he is as gifted physically as any quarterback I've ever been around. He's 6'4", 6'5", he's 225, 30 pounds. He can run 4.5, he's got a strong arm, he's got a natural feel for the game. I've always said that there's different types of quarterbacks. There's quarterbacks that can memorize their progression, and then there's guys that spatially just can see the field and feel the field, almost like a point guard. Got a natural feel for width and depth and those types of things, and Tommy has that. He really does. And then obviously being an experienced player, he's so far along in the offense and defensive recognition and things like that. So that's really what he's needed to focus on. But his approach and his maturity has been really good in meetings and taking notes and asking great questions and on the field being locked in. And then the stuff that we've been able to do with him, Skelly, I think you guys know we do half-line Skelly a lot with a D-line rush. But to get him some more reps, we've been doing more Skellies. So it's pure 7-on-7, and he's able to do that and get some really good work. So it's been positive. I've been very pleased with him. Really, the whole group. Sean's gotten a lot of reps, which has been really good for him. Levis got a bunch of reps today. Obviously you never want a guy to be sick, but in some ways it was great for Levis to get those reps.
You've always said that he was more competitive with Trace the first time around than he got credit for. What did you like about him that spring and summer, and what made him stand out in those moments?
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of times when you got quarterbacks that are really mobile, like both Trace and Tommy were, you don't get to see that aspect of their game in practice. You blow a quick whistle, or unless it's live, it's hard to really tell those things. The defense always thinks they have sacks, so you're not really sure. But Tommy's got that. We've been able to see that the last couple of years in other ways that we've used him. But really, that first time around, when we grade those things like completion percentage, touchdown to interception ratio, in terms of red zone efficiency, things like that, he was as good or better in some of those categories, really with Trace. So it was a tough decision. I think a lot of it came down to Trace's maturity, and the little experience that he did have. But that was really it. So right now I think we're in a really good situation. We got 5 quarterbacks that are all competing, 3 that are obviously further along. But I'm pleased with the group. I really am.
James, your running backs, what have you seen from Ricky so far this spring? Are you kind of seeing that next step?
Yeah, I think both Ricky and Journey have kind of taken a step and separated themselves as they should. Ricky's pretty confident right now. That game experience, I think, was really helpful for him. Journey is obviously didn't get as much game experience, but still got some. And we've seen some really good things. There's a lot of things going right for Journey right now. He's confident. He's becoming a leader. He had an unbelievable offseason. He's always extremely gifted. Last year he ran a 4.3 for us and pulled his hamstring while running the 40, and missed a lot of spring ball because of it. So the light seems to be coming on for him. It's never been a physical thing. It's a confidence thing. It's an assignment thing, not only with our offense but also with defensive recognition for blitz pickup and things like that. He's doing some really nice things. And then Noah, Noah's been pretty good for a true freshman coming in, and CJ's gained some experience now being in the program for a year. So and then Yuri, we love Yuri. He's been awesome since the day he arrived on campus. But it's a good group. I would say there's a little bit of a separation with Journey and Ricky right now, but we like what Noah and CJ are doing too.
James, after the Citrus Bowl.
So last week you said Jahan Dotson needed to take the next step. What is that? What does that entail, and is he taking it?
Yeah, I think it's obviously the experience for him last year really helped. I think one of the things that he has to do is he has to develop a Big Ten body, and then eventually he's got to develop an NFL body. He's still a little bit behind in that area. He was behind kind of when he got here. But the game comes very natural to him. But there's times where he needs that strength when he's getting press man to get off press coverage. There's times where he needs that when he makes a great catch to get some yak and break a tackle. I just think it's going to allow him to be more explosive. It's going to allow our offense to be more explosive. He's one of the more natural receivers that we have, one of the more natural football players we have, but he's been able to get away with it by how smooth he is, how natural his ball skills are, and his understanding, for space and how to make people miss and run routes. But it's the next step for him. He needs to become more of an explosive athlete.
James, keeping with the receivers, how is Justin coming to his own this spring?
Good. He shows flashes. He's 6'4". We are working like hell to keep him under 230 pounds. I mean, literally, he could be 250 right now if he wanted to. He's like a cheeseburger away from 250. But he can run. When he opens his stride up and goes, but like a lot of big guys, it's the transition stuff. It's the top of the route. It's in and out of breaks. It's playing as big and strong as what he is in terms of contested catches, in terms of blocking, in terms of releases, being physical. It's all those things, but he shows great flashes. I think Coach Parker's been great for him, but he's still the exciting part is he's still got a lot of room for growth, and I think between coming up with a really specific plan for all these guys when spring ball ends, these are the areas you need to work. Chisina's another guy. Chisina's a guy that's really had a nice spring that we're excited about. You guys know we recruited him and the track team stole him from us, and then we got him back. I mean, Chisina can run 4.3. He's 6'2". He's 210 pounds. I know I throw these 4.3s around, which I don't believe 4.3 guys exist, but those two guys, Journey and Chisina, they can run. Kind of like Dion said about Apke. Run.
James, you said in December you hope that Coach Sutter could be like a Pied Piper, just like John Dunmore coming up from South Florida. How much more confidence as a group, as a team, and a staff do you have recruiting that area with Coach Sutter, and how do you feel about where that's trending in a new recruiting cycle now?
Yeah, I think it's starting. If you look in the Northeast, the numbers of high school graduates are going down every single year. If you look at some of the studies, if you look 30 years ago, 25 years ago, 20 years ago, and keep kind of going down, the number of D1 players from our state, from our region, we got to make sure that our net is wide enough that year in and year out we're going to be able to bring enough talent here to be successful. This is not 1975. This is not 1985. It's changed. The demographics have changed. Having an area like Florida, we got a huge alumni base down there. We got a guy that's got great connections and a great name. And we've shown with the success that we've had over the last couple of years that those kids will travel. That's one of our challenges here is the travel. Typically most people base their recruiting on where does your local airport fly to. That's kind of how you start your recruiting, and it goes from there. But we have found that people will come. So last year we just had Jaywan in the state, which was ridiculous. Although he spot recruited it, we're putting some more people down there, and we've been received. We've been received very well.
Time for two more. James, what does Pat Frymuth have to do to take the next step into becoming an elite tight end in this conference?
I think he just needs to be trending in the direction that he is. I think one of the things that we love about him is him and Bowers and even Kuntz. They have a chance to be complete tight ends. Brent Strange as well. Complete tight ends, guys that can hurt you in a pass game and guys that are problems in the run game as well. You know, I wouldn't say necessarily that Kuntz and Strange probably fell into that category when they first got here, but because we have two veteran tight ends, it allows us to develop those guys and put them in those situations to allow them to grow. So, you know, right now, you know, I think Pat's got a chance to be one of the better tight ends in the country. I think Bowers has a chance to be one of the better tight ends in the country. I think we got a chance to have a two-headed monster there with Kuntz coming on fire and Strange really flashing some nice things. Strange is a lot further along than we thought he would be. But it's not like one area, because I wouldn't say that Pat's got a weakness right now. You know, I think obviously getting stronger, obviously getting faster, obviously getting leaner will help them. But they're both of them guys are 255, 260 pounds and can hurt you in a lot of different ways. So it's not like one obvious area of weakness. It's just consistently working on refining their craft.
James, I know you said coming into the spring that you wanted to find out about your defensive tackles and some of your younger guys. But do you feel like this spring and going into the summer and the next year you have more flexibility, more versatility along the defensive line? Maybe do a couple different things?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I will say that we're probably further along. Me and Brent were just talking about this the other day, and Sean. I think we're further along at D-tackle than we probably thought we would be at this point. I think Damian Barber is a guy that's coming on right now. I think Culpepper is a guy that's coming on right now. The other names I think you guys are already aware of, and they've taken the next step, which is really good for us. The thing I would also say is I think our defensive end group is one of the better defensive end groups in the country. In my 24 years, this is the best D end group that I've been around. Obviously, losing Sharif's a big loss, but I'm talking from top to bottom. Our DN group, I think, has a chance to be special. And I think if you look last year, I think we led the nation in sacks, and you look over a 3-year period, I think we've had as many sacks as anybody. So I think that number will continue to trend up.
Thank you.